Is there anything you shouldn't be allowed to buy and sell? In this class, we talked a lot about markets for goods like pizza or soda. In real-world applications, we discuss medicine and luxury cars and hardcover books. But in doing so, we skip an important question. Is it okay to sell these things? For most of these things, this is a silly question. There's nothing controversial about selling pizza with pepperoni on it. But what if Pizza Hut sold, and prepare to get grossed out if you're American, pizza with horse meat instead of pig meat? For a lot of people, this sounds awful. It's even considered immoral. In 1998, there was a ballot question in California about banning the sale of horse meat. It passed 60% to 40%. From the perspective of our class, this is hard to understand. If I want to buy a slice of pizza for $2 and you are willing to sell it to me, then that's usually the end of the story. The transaction happens and we're both better off. We even call it inefficient anytime transactions don't happen that make both parties better off. We call it a market failure. Given that, why would California ban the sale of horse meat? If people don't want it, they won't buy it. If they do, then they're better off if you let the trade happen. What the California example shows is that there are real limits on what can be bought and sold. We ignored these issues in our class because I want you to learn how consumers and firms operate in functioning markets. But in the real world, these limits can't be ignored. And horse meat isn't even the only or even the best example. You can't buy or sell votes. I can't pay you to vote for a candidate I like, even if I'm really passionate about the candidate and you don't care. You can't buy a kidney from me if you really need to live, even though I could function just fine with one kidney. While our class focuses on models of consumers and firms, I don't want you to leave it thinking that morals aren't an important part of markets. To the contrary, a society's culture actively shapes what can and can't be part of the market. At the same time, that doesn't make what we learn in this class irrelevant. Why? Because morals change. Take alcohol. Alcohol was widely legal in the US, but then was prohibited in 1920 when the 18th Amendment went into effect. At that point, it was illegal across the country, and it stayed that way, but only for 13 years. Then it was legal again. And the age limits have changed a lot too. After Prohibition, the minimum drinking age was 21 in most places, then became 18 in many states during the 1970s, but then went back to 21 in the 1980s. Morals change. The same is true for marijuana, which used to be illegal in every state, but is now legal in 9 states. In both cases, economic arguments matter. One reason why marijuana legalization has become more common is that states can tax the sale of marijuana and use the money to pay for government programs. The bottom line is that even though we focus on markets and market transactions on our course, morals play a big role in determining what can and cannot be bought and sold in the first place.